Yo friends, happy spring. I haven't been posting many videos or updates for a while, mainly just because I've been so busy. This is my busy season as both a gardener and as a nursery operator. So I want to give you a quick tour, a quick update here about what's been going on this spring. Firstly, I've been putting tons of plants in the ground. I got this big bulk order from Hartman's where I got 30 different these small cranberry plants. This is a Stevens variety. And what I've been doing here, this is my creek, and I think this will be a suitable location for the cranberries to grow. Really, my ideal here is I just want a thick ground cover so I don't have to come and stay on top of weeds all of the time, like this garlic mustard is breaking through. Now some of these plants are great. These here are a great native flower. The hummingbirds really love them. But there's other areas over here where there's a lot of poison ivy and English ivy I'm trying to tear out and then replace with these cranberries and this cranberry ground cover. But I'm also putting the cranberries in areas here too, just seeing what happens. I got a bunch of currants from them as well. So here is a black currant. This is more of a shadier location, and I've read that black currants handle the shade very well and produce even in fairly shady locations. So you know, we'll see what happens here, but so far these look strong and healthy. I even put some black currants on the northwest side of my house, really just trying to fully test how shade tolerant they are. They do get a couple hours of direct sun, but obviously not very much. We moved a year ago and I had a lot of plants kind of in storage at the middle school garden. This is a pear tree, so I've also been working at bringing over the last few plants from that middle school garden over to our house, and this pear tree is starting to put on flowers here, so I might get pears for the first time. I had originally planned for right along the road here to have a row of evergreen tea shrubs. I was loving the idea of a permanent visual barrier from this cars, but they really didn't survive the winter very well. I think part of it was this is so shady in the winter. Lots of sun in the summer, but really shady from these trees and a low sun in the winter. So I don't think they love that. Maybe also some of the salt from the road. So instead, what I've been doing here is replacing those. I've been digging them up and putting them in a hopefully more suitable location, the ones that survived. And I've been replacing those with a row of beach plums, which definitely will handle the salt spray from the road very well. And they're just starting to wake up here. And then just behind the beach plums is going to be a row of Nanking cherries. So the idea here is probably, you know, for a couple of weeks in the spring, we'll have a row of beautiful white flowers, and then following that another row of beautiful white flowers. So lots of flowers right here along the road in the spring. My wife Judith and my son Sebastian helped me plan out this native flower garden in the rock circle here in our front yard. So lots of beautiful flowers here in a couple of weeks, hopefully. I also went to a ramp patch I know of, and I transplanted a bunch of ramps. I have a video about that I did post. So I have little patches of ramps all throughout the front yard here, and I expect them to really spread over the next few years. And also I'll be spreading seed and transplanting a few more patches. And you'll see here another big project of mine has been protecting these trees. A lot of these are Nanking cherry and honeyberries, and the deer just went at them really heavily last year. So they all survived, they're all going to do okay, but they didn't really grow very much. And so I put these cages around most of them. I still have a few more to do, but hopefully that'll help keep the deer off of them for a year or two until they get tall enough to be above deer browse. Most of the rest of my work has been over here. Now that I finally have a deer fence, I can confidently do some gardening and some growing over here again. So this is a long row of perennial kale, and here is some that I started indoors, so it's quite a bit bigger, and a little cube of a little corner of lettuce over here as well. I have done a fair bit of planting in here. There's a couple beds that I haven't done anything with yet, but I am not leaning too heavily in this year because I have lots of plans for a complete redesign. Probably I'll do it in this fall, get ready for next year. What I'm thinking about doing is this whole veggie garden area here, maybe this 30-foot strip from the gate to the end, maybe even 40 feet, of just doing long rows of maybe 3 or 4 foot wide beds, kind of in like a market garden style. I have this bed this year that I added. I really like this long row. It makes things easier. I can put a floating row cover over top of it, although this one got torn to shreds, so I have to buy some better, higher quality row covers. But I also can put a plastic cover over it to have like a mini polytunnel greenhouse to really do some season extension stuff, and it'll just kind of make weeding and make taking care of things a little easier with 5 or 6 long straight rows. Probably the biggest project I've been working on is this was all really hard compacted clay maybe 2 months ago, and I have made this about 100-foot long blueberry bed. So I planted a variety of blueberry plants, mostly rabbit eye varieties. This here, for example, is a Columbus, and I also have powder blue and pink lemonade, and I also have a Duke variety, and I'm probably going to get another. I have one or two more spots for some other blueberries as well. But I planted this long row of blueberries. I planted them about 3.5 feet apart, which is fairly close for blueberries. I've heard that they can get even closer, but I really wanted this to be partially a hedge between my house and the neighbor's house here. Just kind of as a fun little test, I put some tomato plants here as well that I'm wanting to vine up the fence here. And I also have some strawberry plants in the front here. I know the blueberries like more acidic soil. I'm wondering how much that will impact the strawberries and the tomatoes. Not all of the soil has been treated acidically, and I'm imagining coming through and adding some acidifying stuff, right around the base of the blueberry plant. So I don't know if that'll really spread and impact the tomatoes or strawberries. I'll keep you updated. It was just I had some extra plants and I wanted to plug it in as a test. I had planted out this whole bed with veggies, I think carrots and kale and spinach, and nothing sprouted. And I realized pretty, kind of late, but I realized it was probably the birds eating the seeds. So I've been laying this mesh over wherever I plant, and it seems to have been doing the trick. Right over here, I had a mesh that was just about this wide, and I planted out this whole bed here, and this right on top of the mesh, which is the only place plants sprouted. Over here was nothing, so I had to come in and plant in some pepper plants. So I'll just be using that mesh probably quite a bit from here on out. I've also been doing a lot of planting of seeds and transplanting of a few seedlings. Here's some pawpaws I grew from seed last year. They're just starting to wake up. These are some wild pears and some hickories here that are just starting to wake up too. So that's been pretty busy here getting the tree nursery set up. Probably have over 1,000 trees and tree seeds in the ground right now. I also planted out this row here of fruit trees. I'll probably interspace in between some of these some deer resistant plants like maybe gumi, just so I'll have a multi-layer visual barrier between our houses. A blueberry hedge, kind of like a fruit tree and berry bush hedge, so hopefully, and then also maybe I'll have a bunch of vines crawling up here like beans and stuff. So hopefully we're getting some new neighbors soon. Hopefully they're nice, and hopefully they're okay with all the gardening here. But I do want, to be polite and to have a little separation between our houses. I moved a lot of my plant storage stuff here. It's just inside the fence for protection, and it's also as far south as I can go, close to this tree line. So this gets some nice shade in the afternoon, the hottest parts of the day. So for these young trees, this seems to be okay. These are all trees that were shipped by mail after they had leafed out. You can tell they don't really look super happy, but over here are some Nankin cherries which arrived maybe a week or two earlier, and these are really starting to wake up and look happy. So it was funny to see all these plants trapped in a box like that. They didn't love it, but they're really bouncing back pretty hard. I have a bunch of elderberry here. I have some hazelnuts that are starting to wake up for the year, some hickory and some Chinese chestnut around here somewhere. So a lot of stuff going on here. Yeah, here's some Chinese chestnut starting to wake up. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of plants kind of sitting, and this is a good spot for them. So they'll kind of stay here mostly throughout the year until I plant them or sell them. So all I have to do is stay on top of watering it. Yeah, it's just nice to see them here. Lots of trees that are happy to go out to people whenever I get the chance. Hopefully that explains why I haven't been posting as much. Hope you forgive how busy I am this time of year. I've been doing a lot of stuff. Hope your spring's going great, friends. Happy growing.